G'day, welcome back to Twisted Metal Customs. You're with Twisty, and actually we're in the new workshop, but we're not going to talk about that today. I don't want to spoil that video, but actually I have the man of the hour himself. Mouse is here. He been speaking to him about obviously the video that we put up and the colourful, interesting comments that people have been talking about himself and the cars. So he just said, well, stuff it, why not come down and clear the air and give an explanation to everybody that's so opinionated about these cars and a bit of a background story, I guess, of yourself and the cars.
Yeah, definitely. I think, clear the air so everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, I think so. If you haven't watched the video that we're talking about, it won't make any sense to you. So go check out the video that will pop up now first and then come back and watch this one. Let's grab a seat and we'll get straight into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Mouse, thanks for joining us. I do really appreciate you coming out and put yourself on the front line again for my content. You'll get that reference in a minute. But everyone's been asking, why aren't these cars done? Why aren't they ever been restored? You've also got a, interesting backstory on your life, which also contributes to why the cars where they are,
immaculate, and why they're
half stripped, I guess. I guess my first thing for everybody that hasn't seen the video and you're still watching for some reason, we spoke about Mouse's collection, and I'll overlay some video here. He's got a number 2 XB GT hardtop. He's got a XA GT four-door, and then the
XC Cobra
1-of-1 reverse coat paint, and then probably another 15, 20 other cars. We didn't go through them all. That's what we're talking about in this video, and so just go back and watch it and it'll make more sense. And the part that I blame is probably on me for not giving the people watching the background, or but I wanted to keep it private for you because it's your private life. But I don't think they're going to understand without knowing that. So this is what today's about. Hopefully you watch the whole thing and not skip it and just assume something else. But anyway, so Mouse, let's start back when you started collecting cars.
So when I was about 18, 19, I joined the army. Ended up later in my military career, became a qualified mechanic. And straight away, as soon as I joined the army, young bloke, earning money, I was living on base, so I just started buying me cars, and I'm a massive rev head.
So that's how your collection started?
And that's how it started, So, you go in the car park, you would see Tiranas and...
Everyone did it, right?
Everyone did it, we're all young blokes, all rev heads, blowing all our money, all on cars. So I just followed along, So
you're in the army from, you said 19?
23 years.
23 years?
Yeah, 23 years in total.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I was med discharged at the end. I was involved in a few incidences throughout my career.
So medically discharged?
Yeah, medically discharged. For example, at one stage I was serving overseas and I had a roof beam fall on my back. Yep. That started the damage to my back. And then later, I was again serving overseas in Afghanistan, and I was on the back of the Land Rover, I was on the machine gun, and a rocket landed just behind the car. Yep. I got blown off the vehicle, landed 20, 25 metres away, crumpled on my back and my neck, and basically pretty much destroyed the L's in my back. So L1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, destroyed them. And that started me, unfortunately, off paralysing. So I started paralysed from the hips down. So not in a very good headspace, but I was paralysing for weeks on end at first.
Hang on, so you got blown out of a Land Rover?
Yes.
From a missile, a rocket?
Rocket,
Broke your back? Well, it was the
busted big time.
Straw that broke the camel's back?
It was, yeah.
And I'm not meaning to laugh about it, but...
Especially in the land of camels.
Okay. So you started paralysing, and that's pretty much where you got medical
they started looking at medically discharging me. So the paralysation, it hit me hard. Yeah. One day fit and healthy, next day paralysing from the hips down.
So you just...
And yeah, bang. So, you know, for example, I could be just standing there talking to somebody, all of a sudden I'd get a massive electric shock, just drop on the spot.
And that would last for...
So at first it was lasting for weeks. It would last for weeks. And I'm still in the army at this stage.
Yep.
So this is, you know, 2010-ish. And it wasn't until I got my first back operation, late 2010, that it actually started, that the operation did help. Yep. But I was still paralysing from anywhere from 3 to 7 days, maybe even longer sometimes. And it really played with my head. Yeah, the doc even said, yeah, one day you're going to get paralysed and you're not going to come out of it.
So every time you is this it?
Is this
the last time?
Yeah. And I'll be honest here, I was thinking bad thoughts.
Yeah.
And so, being honest, with the cars, they're the last thing on my mind.
Yeah, you can imagine.
I was going through a period of spending 6 months a year in hospital for like 7, 8 years.
Yeah, okay.
And here I'm getting told I'm going to lose my licence. You know, I'm not allowed to touch cars. I'm on medication now, and I'm freaking out. You know,
okay.
Things are bad.
Yeah. From that point, you know, are now in hospital for 7-ish years, whatever it was.
Yeah.
You said before that then they had a trial
box
thing?
So they put a nerve stimulator. It's a box that was put in my hip, 28 wires in my back, and that just tricks the nerves. And so every time my body goes to paralyse, it just tricks it, tells it, no, everything's fine.
Yeah, okay.
And that sort of got me, back and mobile again, and starting to get a bit of confidence in myself. And it was even like, had a more of a positive outlook to get back into the cars. Yeah,
so were you being such a rev head and, you know, for obviously most of us watching and myself, such a passion for cars. I feel like that's why these comments are so heated, because obviously they care about the cars and what happens. Was that something that you thought, was that like a silver lining or like a motivation for you?
It was, mate. I'm sitting there going, they were in I had a big workshop, and so all the good ones were all packed in the workshop, and you know, we just closed the doors and just walk. You know, had to walk away or hobble away. Really, it was shocking.
Yeah, mate.
And it's hard. It was hard on the family. I was, like I said, spending 6 months a year in hospital.
Yeah.
And with the nerve stimulator coming along, I wasn't paralysing as much.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, I'm going, oh, there is a light. You know, I can get back and do my passion.
Yep.
Get it. And I was a massive revhead. I needed to work on cars.
Yeah.
And I had such a long period away from them. And unfortunately, the first one, the battery failed. So I started. Because it's powered by a battery, and it failed. So I went back into paralysation again. And then I was lucky. A couple of years later, we're now up to 2019 now.
Okay. Wow.
I've now got a new battery put in. It's a lithium one. Yeah, bit of a catch there. Be careful; they could explode. But it's now stopped me completely from paralysing. I haven't paralysed once since I've had the new one in.
Touch wood.
Yeah, touch wood. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's.
Yeah.
So, you said before that you had a massive workshop.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know, but you obviously rebuilt a lot of cars and stuff in the past and worked on them.
Yeah.
Do you have, like, what sort of workshop? Was it full car?
Yeah. It was a massive workshop.
This is just for me now. I'm just curious.
Yeah, massive workshop. I had everything. You know, lathes, sandblasters. I had my hoist.
Yep.
I had everything. I had everything, and it was 6 double door bay, massive garage. You could put, I think we worked it out, 12 cars in there, just easy, and still had plenty of room to work.
Yeah, nice.
And it was my little production line.
So you've had that, these cars during your time in service and in hospital, and that, and this is addressing the people's comments, is clearly they weren't in where they are now for the last 40 years.
Yes, that's correct.
Were protected. Most of them were, as you said, running and driving until recently you started stripping the 3 Fords.
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
And we'll go on that reason why. And Yeah, so that's for everyone thinking they've been sitting there for so long. They haven't been. You said, I just want to take you back, you said that you had this awesome workshop.
Yes, yes.
So,
Okay. Yeah, I did have this massive, awesome workshop. But again, you know, even though I now have the new stimulator in, you know, life's great again. I'm looking at getting back into the cars. Well, unfortunately, I went through a divorce. So the car, it all went through 12 months ago. So where the cars are now and what you saw, the home viewers got to see on the video, they've only been there for 12 months.
yeah.
I had to put them somewhere. You know, I got that out of the divorce. I got the cars. So at the moment, I've already been approved through bank to get a loan for another block of land. So we're going to, unfortunately, have to start again and build up a workshop and go get back into it.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry to hear everything that's happened to you in the last 40-something years, but it does look like that there's silver lining coming. You know, you've got your cars.
Well, that's right, mate. Yeah.
You're working towards a workshop, and that's, like, I didn't know about the workshop and stuff, and that's why I was so confident in the comments below that these cars will get done. And another thing is, you know, we didn't really talk about it on the day, but
No.
you're obviously not going to restore all of them, and that's a big ask. A lot of the comments on there saying, you know, you've got to be -70 to be able to do all that. And obviously you're not -70, so
I don't have anything to hold me back anymore, except for once I get the property and get the workshop up and running.
Yeah, so they've only been there for 12 months. You're not going to restore all of them.
That's correct.
And we'll talk about which ones you will be keeping and restoring.
That's correct.
And I guess there's some other stuff I want to talk about is, one of those was the Craig Williams car.
Yes.
I can't remember the other ones. I did screenshot them, but... okay, why did you strip the 3 Fords down, you know, and how long ago were they done? That's another question that come up a lot, like why they're sitting there, A, open to atmosphere, and B, like why they're stripped down.
So the three big ones, the Fords, I'll never sell them. I've promised them. I've got 3 kids from my previous relationship, and those 3 cars are going to them.
Yep.
So at the moment, eldest is 23, 24, youngest is 18. They're not ready for those sort of cars at the moment. They're for when I pass away, and they'll get the cars. But obviously,
your legacy, so to speak.
It's something from their father. Yep. They knew that I was a rev head and I was always working on the cars. So it's sort of something from me to them. They've got one each. They know which one they're getting. And so there's no rush for that.
Okay, so you started to strip them down.
Yes.
Like obviously only a couple of years ago?
Yeah, it was a few years ago. And but see, again, what we didn't sort of mention on the video is my father's a spray painter panel beater by trade, and he's actually he was going to do all the work for me. And but unfortunately, you know, my parents, they're getting old now, so my father's he's sort of getting a bit slower on the tools and in the trade. Once I've got the property up and running, I might bring them back and just, you know, sort of start continuing them on myself. But there's no real rush for them.
Yeah.
I did have a tarp on them. So a lot of people did ask why there's no tarps. I did have a tarp on them. The tarp actually on the orange, the red coupe, it actually started holding moisture, and you can see along the drip rails it started to rust out.
Yeah, and then I was going to reply to that comment, and everybody's different. Everyone has their own way to do things. I personally, I don't use tarps, especially in humid areas, because it traps moisture in it. I'd rather have it open to atmosphere, if I have to have it outside, that is, and let it evaporate. Whereas I've seen so much worse rust from tarps on cars. The only reason I'd tarp it is to hide them.
That's correct.
But you obviously have some containers coming anyway. It's just literally, I guess it's just filmed at the wrong time, and in a couple of months' time,
it would have been a whole new
different story,
different location, different.
So this is the reason why we're doing this video, is I guess to clear Mouse's name, and he's not a horrible person, and all those things you're saying. And then even the HD comment, you're a year or 2 off.
You got to remember, I'm old and I forget things, and I'll be honest with you also, and Twisty knows, I get a bit nervous in front of the camera.
You don't know how much I've had to edit out already.
Fool,
so
yeah.
so
yeah, okay,
people
I
make
did make a
mistakes.
couple of
Okay,
mistakes.
he's not perfect. I'm not perfect, and I know you're not perfect. So
Yeah.
give the guy a break. I think it was really awesome to hear the story, and as a younger car enthusiast, and for someone that myself, I don't know everything. I know nothing compared to what you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's tons of people know more than you.
Yeah.
I think people are reading between the lines a fair bit with this other video.
Yeah, well, that's right. I think some of the comments weren't warranted.
Yeah, I agree.
But there were some really nice people on making awesome comments.
Yeah, and then sharing information. That's a big thing on my channel. I love people sharing information.
Yeah, just recently we had a bloke share some information about the HSV Jackaroos.
Yeah.
You know who you are, mate.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And
Thank you.
so even I learnt stuff.
Yep.
And that's what his channel is all about, helping everybody.
Yep, I'm learning as I go, and I've always said that. I'm not a professional. I just learn as I go.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing it. I enjoy this sort of communication and finding out facts. And I didn't know mag wheels are from magnesium steel wheels. Like, God, I'm a 90s baby. You guys got to remember that. Oh yeah, so let's go back to the Craig Williams one.
Okay.
All right, so I do want to address this because hang on a second. Okay, I've got a comment here from Sneaky Flogger.
It's a good start.
I really wanted to call that name out. He said, that story on the XAGT on a Craig Williams makes absolutely no sense to the real history we know of that car. It was owned by a mate of mine who has pictures of it. Sponsored by Ford. What a load of rubbish. And then about 60 laughy faces. So, can you elaborate on that, or how did you get it?
Well, how I got it. So the go is, I rocked up to the local newspaper this is back in '93. You got to remember this, and I was about to put a pallet worth of Clevo spare parts in the trading post to flog them off.
Yep.
Anyway, a young bloke rocks up, and he pulls up right beside me. I was driving the Cobra at the time, and he pulls up beside me in this XAGT.
Yep.
So we got to talking, and he was going to actually sell the XAGT. So we did a bit of haggling, and I got the car for $3,300, and I was stoked. And anyway, a few weeks later, I picked it up obviously that afternoon, but a few weeks later, I thought I'll get it dyno tuned because it did get up and boogie, you know. So I thought, it's not your standard XAGT. So I took it to So I took it to a local dyno joint, and I thought I'd get it dynoed. And when I drove it in, the bloke goes, I know who owns that car. He knew who used to own it. And I said, oh yeah, who was that? And he goes, Craig Williams. And I said, well, that's no dramas. I said, can I get his address? I wouldn't mind having a yarn to him, tell me a bit more about the car. Due to privacy reasons, he couldn't tell me. But I looked up the old yellow pages, the white pages, the phone book, and I found his name and his address. So I went out and I spoke to him. So I get to his house, knock on his door, and he goes, yeah, mate, how can I help you? And I said, mate, you don't know me from this or that. I said, see that car? And he goes, yep, that's my car. That used to be my car. So we went in, we spoke for hours.
Yeah, really?
Hours upon hours. And he was telling me stories how he raced his Phase 3 against it, and it kicked his Phase 3's butt.
Really?
And he brought out the old photos of it, and he told me all the history of it while he had the car.
Yeah.
And he actually told me how he sold it to the young bloke. So I'm the third owner of this car. So I'm rather curious who this bloke.
Maybe what time, if you're watching this Sneaky Flogger, what era, I guess, did your mate own the car? Maybe it was your mate.
And it could have been your mate. I bought the car off. And also throw in an idea of whereabouts your mate lived, because this car stayed in the same area from the time Craig Williams got it to the time I got it. So if you can name the town where it was,
it could be.
It
could be the same car.
It could be the same car.
Unless you still got it, then something doesn't add up. So thank you. Yes. I really wanted to clear that up because, that's you call it out.
Yeah,
that's the information we can give you.
We'll try and help you.
Yeah, well, it could be a cool fact. Maybe he did own it. Maybe he was the guy.
Yeah, that's right. It could have been the bloke you knew who owned it. It could have been his car.
Yeah. Cool. All right. There's probably about, 4,000 other ones we could go through, but to save everyone's life, we'll only talk about a couple. All right, Mouse, I've gone through the comments here and basically a majority of them saying you're too old and you're not going to get all these cars done.
Yeah.
So which cars are you actually going to restore and which ones are you probably going to sell, if any, to fund the paint and panel and stuff?
Well, that's quite easy.
We didn't talk about that, sorry.
Yeah, we didn't go right into detail of exactly what's going to happen to them in the future. But the main ones, the GT Coupe, the Cobra, that's going to my kids.
Yep.
So that they'll never be sold.
So you're going to restore them?
Yep, but that's long-term project.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Yeah, plenty of time. One of the other cars I'm definitely sort of looking at keeping is the WL Grange, which was a show car.
The stolen one?
Yeah, the stolen one.
Yep.
That's going to get back on the road. The VL Turbo Calais wagon, I'm going to turn that into a daily. I think there was maybe the Avalanche wagon. That'll be
the all-wheel drive.
Yeah, the all-wheel drive HSV wagon. That's just going to be a bit of a fun car, hill climber. But pretty much all the others are going.
So that's it. So you got 3 long-term projects.
Yes.
And do you mind me asking how old you are now?
54.
54. But enough time to definitely well and truly.
Yeah, that's right.
With those Fords, you've told me this already. All the parts and everything you've pulled off it.
They're correct. They're all packed away.
They're all in great condition.
Yep.
There's nothing needed to be done to them.
Yeah, all the seats were wrapped, glad wrapped.
So it's literally just a little bit of rust repair, paint and panel.
Correct.
So people saying 150 grand restos, 100 grand restos. Luckily enough for you, you have most of the original parts in because you looked after them. And I guess that they were in storage for a long time.
Yeah, that's correct.
So those 3 cars, it's not as big as people think they will be to do.
And they're just, let's be honest, they're just Falcons. Falcon parts, rare spares, you can get this stuff everywhere now.
Yeah, you've got the important things that matter, right?
Yeah, that's right.
The plates. So those 3, the Grange, you've got the motor still that you've already pulled out of it.
Yeah, that's still there.
Perfectly fine, put away. Yeah, you got a bit of body work to do.
Yeah.
Put the dash back together. That's more just stuffing around that one.
Yeah. The VL Turbo wagon, got all the parts for that.
It was just a little prang on the front, wasn't it?
Yeah, hit on the nose.
Yep.
So I've got all the new parts for that sitting there.
And all these other ones we spoke about, like the HD special year model, the HD one, and all these other ones, they're just
maybe,
if you get to it.
Yeah, if I get to it.
That's not like we're talking. I've got dream cars of my own that I say I'm going to do. It's like I plan to do them. Whether I get to it or not, who knows? I might just sell it off. But at this point in time, this is your plan. As you get older, obviously you can judge how long roughly you got left. Yeah, I'm not going to get to it. Sell it.
Yeah, that's right.
So you've got a lot of cars that you probably will sell.
Yeah, well, will sell. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I think this is like literally like not even a year of settled time. So your back's not paralysing.
Yeah, that's right.
Your past relationships sorted.
Yeah, that's right.
And you just have a bit of a break. So anyway, I really appreciate it. Anything else you want to say or talk about? I don't know, have we covered everything?
No, I think we have. I think we've pretty much covered it.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose if they've got any more questions, maybe throw it in the comments.
Yeah, look, if you've got any questions...
If it's a fair dinkum one, not a keyboard warrior one.
Yeah, no keyboard warriors. Just if you've got anything serious or normal to ask, go ahead and ask it. Keep it above board, and we're here for the same thing. We all like cars. Hopefully you guys watched through that and it gave some insight on about the last video, because it's not something I wanted to leave for Mouse to have all that negative stuff. I think it's not cool. So
yeah. And a lot of people jumping on saying horrible comments. Well, they don't know who I am. That's not right. You don't know the story. Don't gob off. Pretty much. And
I think I still take a little bit of blame for that, because I didn't give them any context. I just said, look, this guy's got his cars.
Well,
I'll apologise.
We honestly didn't think that was going to happen. We thought the viewers would be happy.
Very soon, when you're looking at getting this block, it's somewhere closer to me, because now you're a bit far away.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to get you around, and maybe I can do some work on your cars, or
Yeah, we'll get them on the video.
Because in my opinion, you're a wealth of knowledge, mate, and I think that don't shoot me, but the older generation, I think that we need to get that knowledge out for the younger generation. And the people that want to share it, like for a lot of, this is me going off my bat here, is a lot of the old generation, they're not so much tight-lipped, but, it's hard for them to share this sort of information and
A lot of the old techniques are going.
yeah.
But yeah, you still got a lot of blokes who still like to live in those sort of eras.
I'm a carby dude.
Yeah,
That's all I was taught, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, I probably know 4/5 of what you know. Like, no, well, not even that. What is it saying? It's like 4/5 of fuck all.
Fuck all.
Bleep that out. Nah, we can go in. Anyway, better wrap this up.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching and tuning in. Thank you, Mouse, again for coming out. I really appreciate you. Yeah, as I said, going on the front line, putting yourself out there and sharing your collection, and hopefully that explains to a lot of people that are car collectors and passionate about cars. These things aren't, you know, except for maybe the Jackaroo, but these things aren't going to go and rot. Thanks for watching. Give it a like, subscribe if you like this stuff. Yeah, and on my channel, next video is going to be the workshop build and looking to start moving my stuff in, so you can look forward to that. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you later. Thanks, Mouse.
Have a good one.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers, Swissy.